Hi there, VCEers. We have thus far looked at Atkinson-Shiffrin's multi-store model of memory and Baddeley and Hitch's model of working memory. But there is one final model that aims to explain human memory, Craik and Lockhart's level of processing. This is what we're looking at in this video. Craik and Lockhart suggest that some types of information are more easily remembered than others. That is, how much you remember information depends a bit on how it is encoded into long-term memory. There are three distinct levels: visual processing, phonemic processing, and semantic processing. Visual processing, also referred to as structural processing, is the shallowest form of processing of the three. By shallow, here, we mean something like least effective. The more shallow a type of processing, the less it is remembered. So that means that visual processing is not particularly effective. It doesn't encode new information at a very deep level at all. Visual encoding, unsurprisingly, uses visual properties to encode new information. So if we were trying to encode the word elephant, for example, we would look at the word's colour, shape, size, and how it looks in general. Phonemic processing is less shallow than visual processing. It focuses on the auditory information of the stimulus, that is, how it sounds. So for the word elephant, we would think about the number of syllables, what other words it sounds like, how we pronounce it, and so on. And then there is semantic processing, which is the deepest form of processing of the three. This means that it tends to be the most effective. Semantic processing is all about meaning. It depends on the stimulus's semantic properties. The result of this is that the new information is linked with existing information and is encoded as part of a semantic network. This makes it easier to remember and subsequently easier to recall. So for the word elephant, we could think that it's a type of animal. Many live in Africa and India. It's relatively large and grey, it has tusks, and so on. So to recap, we have three levels of encoding according to Craik and Lockhart: visual processing, which is the shallowest, phonemic processing, and semantic processing, which is the deepest. Here is a relevant question from the 2011 VCE exam. In this question, Dr. Unglick is conducting a study. There are three groups of participants. The first group tries to memorise words by remembering whether each of the words was written in upper or lowercase. The second group tries to memorise words by pairing each word with a rhyming word. And the third group tries to memorise words by putting them into meaningful sentences. The question reads, according to Craik and Lockhart's levels of processing model of memory, the type of encoding for each of the groups in Dr. Unglick's study was which of the following? In the case study, Group 1 is trying to memorise words by remembering whether they are in lowercase or uppercase. This is a physical property of the word, a part of its appearance. This means that Group 1 is using visual processing. Group 2 is trying to think of rhyming words. That means that they are trying to use the word's auditory properties, how they sound, to remember them. As such, they are using phonemic processing. And Group 3 is linking the words to what they already know by putting them into meaningful processes, thereby using semantic processing. Option B, then, looks to be the correct response. That's it for now. Catch you next time.